They actually wanted to make a movie about liberal elites kidnapping Trump supporters, or Republican types, transporting them to a hunting range where the liberal elites would then hunt them down. Now, there's definitely outrage popping up. Advertisements for the movie are being pulled because of what's just happened in the past few days. And I just want to stress, this may be the stupidest move by a company I've ever seen. This movie was greenlit at a time when we have escalating political tensions, violence in the streets, and shootings. And they want to make a movie where liberal elites kidnap deplorables. That's what they actually say in the beginning. Slaughtering a dozen deplorables. Wow! We'll read this, but I just want to stress. I want to make sure it's clear first. I believe the protagonist of the movie is a red state Republican type who fights back. I don't care who's the good guy or the bad guy. Wow, talk about ignorance, poor timing, no sense of what's happening right now in politics to make a movie like this. It's called Hunting at the Manor. You know what? Maybe this will be a great advertisement to replace it, but let me just stress, this is the kind of nightmarish stuff that's popping up due to ignorance that I think is going to make everything a lot worse. Let's read the story. Ads pulled from gory universal thriller The Hunt in wake of mass shootings. Now, before we get started, head over to timcast.com/donate if you'd like to support my work. There's a PayPal option, a crypto option, a physical address, and of course, the best thing you can do, share this video, because I assure you, look, the past few days have been rough because of this news. I'm going to talk about it. I won't shy away from it, but YouTube punishes my channels to no end. Look, we are not allowed to talk about things like this on YouTube. They don't want us. They want family-friendly videos. They would rather I make a video where I throw water balloons at people. That's what they want. They don't want this. But this is important, and YouTube is an effective medium for sharing information and talking about these things. I guarantee you this video will be deranked. I guarantee you it will be demonetized, and that's why I need your support. The most important thing you can do for any one of my videos, just share them wherever you can, because that is how I overcome the deranking. YouTube is trying to make it so people can't see my videos, but if everyone decided I will step up and make sure people do see it, it works. It really does. There were a few days where I didn't mention the share the video, and my viewership dropped like 30 or 40%, which says to me, I really do rely on all of you watching if you do like what I do to share. Let's read the news. In the wake of a trio of deadly massacres, the studio is evaluating its strategy for the R-rated Blumhouse satire in which elites stalk deplorables. Quote, "Did anyone see what our rat effer in chief just did?" One character asks early in the screenplay for The Hunt. "At least the hunt's coming up. Nothing better than going out to the manor and slaughtering a dozen deplorables." That's a line in a movie they thought was appropriate to come out right now, especially with everything happened. Pull the movie. Seriously, I mean, look, man, I'm not saying the movie should be pulled necessarily. I'm not saying that necessarily because I'm offended by it. I'm saying it because I think it's going to make people, it's going to escalate everything. You know what? Don't pull the movie. I have no idea. Let the movie happen. I feel like it's dominoes falling over. Everything we're seeing just can't be stopped. But I'll tell you what, man, there are going to be people who see this. Crazy people who take it seriously. And they're going to panic and be like, the Hollywood elites are telling us what they think. Let's read on. In the aftermath of mass shootings within days of one another, shocked and traumatized the nation, Universal is reevaluating its strategy for the certain-to-be controversial satire. They call it satire? Hold on, they call it satire? I've watched the trailer for this movie. It's not a satire. There's no jokes. I didn't see anything funny. It's literally people walking around and just murdering each other. The violent R-rated film from producer Jason Blum's Blumhouse follows a dozen MAGA types who wake up in a clearing and realize they are being stalked for sport by elite liberals. Over the August 3rd weekend, ESPN pulled an ad for the film that it had previously cleared, while AMC ran the spot during the season premiere of its drama The Preacher. It's unclear whether the ads were identical, but the one yanked by ESPN opened with a sound resembling an emergency broadcast signal. A rep for ESPN parent Disney declined to comment on the move, but an ESPN source says no spots for the film will appear on the network in the coming weeks. The Hunt stars Betty Gilpin from Glow and Hilary Swank, representing opposite sides of the political divide. It features gun blazing along with other ultra-violent killings as the elites pick off their prey. The script from Damon Lindelof and Nick Hughes, reviewed by The Hollywood Reporter, revolves around third-rail political themes. Original title, Red State versus Blue State. A studio source says that even before the recent attacks, which left 34 dead in El Paso, Texas, Dayton, Ohio, and Gilroy, California, some reshoots were done based on a recent rough cut. Universal and Blumhouse declined to comment. While one high-level Universal source says the studio has pulled some ads that are beginning to air and appear online for content and placement, others say the matter is still under discussion internally. A major ad blitz on television and the web had been planned for the beginning of September, says one insider. A trailer is already online. I want to make this point. Even without what just happened, these three incidents, this movie is in poor taste and poor timing, and I feel like will only make things worse. But the fact that we just saw what, El Paso and Dayton and Gilroy was incorrectly labeled white nationalist, I guess. That's what the FBI is saying now. But we got the far left and far right extremists in less than 24 hours. That is proof that this is in poor taste and is poorly timed. They're only pulling the advertisements after the fact. But the fact that those events happen show us we are in no position to have a movie glorifying in any way the kidnapping and killing of people based on political ideology. But you know what? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people seeing this will actually make them, not like the idea. I don't think so. I think people are going to see it and they're going to think it's a message. There's going to be crazy people. Let's read. Given the fraught political climate, particularly in the wake of El Paso, which was motivated by anti-immigrant bigotry, studio sources say Universal is evaluating its plans in what one called a fluid situation. A high-level insider says top executives want to stand by Blum, one of the studio's most prolific and successful producers, as well as filmmaker Craig Zobel, and see the project as a satire addressing an issue of great societal importance. But this person says plans could change if people think we're being exploitative rather than opinionated. I watched 2 trailers for this. There was no jokes. Nothing was silly. I've watched satire before. There's obvious jokes in the trailer. The trailers are being presented as a serious thriller, as a horror action thriller of some type. There was no slapstick, there was no banana peels. It was literally like a woman grabbing a sawed-off and blowing people's faces off. So they're calling it satire, I think, now, because they're realizing they maybe made a bad movie. The Hunt made some executives at Universal skittish back in May 2018 when film chief Donna Langley acquired the script and fast-tracked it at a modest $18 million budget. It is unclear whether there were any other bidders on the property, the sale of which was brokered by CAA, but insiders at several studios told THR at the time that they did not pursue it because of the explosive premise. One executive says he didn't even read the script, noting the idea seemed crazy. This is not the first time a studio has been faced with real-life events that rendered a film release more complicated. Following the 9/11 terrorist attacks, for example, Warner Brothers moved back the Arnold Schwarzenegger starer Collateral Damage and abandoned a trailer that featured a bomb attack in the U.S. The 2017 Death Wish remake was delayed several months in response to a mass shooting in Vegas. And Oliver Stone's 1994 satire Natural Born Killers was criticized for inspiring copycat killings. Certainly, satire can be a dicey genre for studios to pull off. Just ask Sony, which became the target of a 2014 hack blamed on the North Koreans over the Seth Rogen comedy The Interview. It's actually funny because The Interview, my understanding, is kind of based off of what Vice did when Vice went to North Korea. And based on my understanding of what happened, they blamed it on North Koreans, but I don't believe that was the case. I could be wrong, but I don't think it was ever confirmed. The script for The Hunt features the Red State characters wearing trucker hats and cowboy shirts, with one bragging about owning several guns because it's his constitutional right. The Blue State characters, some equally adept with firearms, explain that they picked their targets because they expressed anti-choice positions or used the N-word on Twitter. War is war, says one character after shoving a stiletto heel through the eye of a denim-clad hillbilly. In that trailer, there is a man who is confused and dazed and wakes up on a plane, and he walks up and says, "What's going on? Where am I?" And she jams her heel in his face and kills him. I don't know what the context is around that scene, except all I see is reckless killing of somebody who's considered to be an other. People are starting to consider both sides, each other, to be pure evil. When the talking stops, violence begins. I'm not saying the movie shouldn't happen. I honestly don't know. I have no idea if this should or shouldn't be a thing. All I do know is I expect this to make things worse. I expect this to make things way, way worse. But Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it'll just be a silly movie that people will laugh at. I kind of don't think that's the case. They say, employees in different departments were questioning the wisdom of making such a movie in these times, says one filmmaker with ties to Universal. In light of the horrific shootings, is this not the most craven, irresponsible, dangerous exploitation? I agree with that filmmaker. Yes, yes, yes. That point is countered by a Universal executive who says the movie is meant to show what a stupid, crazy world we live in, adding, it might even be more powerful now. I have to disagree. I think this is irresponsible. It's going to inspire. It's going to put images in people's minds of what they think will happen, what they want to happen, what they think should or shouldn't happen. You're going to have people on the left looking at, look, this is made by people in Hollywood. Hollywood is perceived to be far left. You show a movie of a liberal elites kidnapping Trump supporters, calling them deplorables and hunting them down. And you're going to get crazy fringe right saying, this is their plan, this is what they want. Oh no, it's only going to make things worse. At the very least, it's going to be seen as an insult, as insensitive, and it's going to inflame tensions. But you know what? I'm conflicted, I guess. Should I say they shouldn't do a movie? Or should the movie air and let sunlight be the best disinfectant? I'm not one to normally be outraged and demand something be banned or silenced, but you know what? In this case, I just feel like things are getting worse. So I guess from a principled standpoint, well, by all means, make the movie and air it, let people watch it. From a things are getting to a really scary point kind of mentality, I kind of wish they didn't do this. Anyway, I got one more story coming up for you in a few moments, so stick around and I will see you all in a few moments.